Direct eye contact. Direct eye contact is one of the clearest signals of focused attention and confidence. When someone maintains steady eye contact without excessive blinking or shifting, it usually indicates that they feel comfortable in the interaction and want their presence to be felt. In conversations involving power dynamics, dominant individuals often hold eye contact slightly longer than expected. It subtly communicates control and authority. However, when the stare becomes unusually intense or prolonged, it can also be a deliberate psychological tactic used to pressure the other person into feeling exposed or uneasy. Rapid blinking. Rapid blinking often appears when the brain experiences stress, anxiety, or cognitive overload. The moment someone feels mentally cornered, their nervous system reacts by increasing blink rate. In real conversations, this frequently appears when a person is asked a question they were not prepared to answer or when they are attempting to hide discomfort. Observers who pay attention to sudden spikes in blinking can often detect the exact moment when a subject becomes psychologically uncomfortable. Looking up to the right. Looking up to the right commonly occurs when someone is constructing or imagining information rather than recalling it. The brain shifts toward creative processing, and the eyes often follow that mental direction. In high-pressure conversations, this movement can sometimes appear when a person is inventing a response on the spot. It does not automatically prove deception, but when combined with hesitation and inconsistent speech, it may indicate that the individual is assembling a story rather than remembering a real event. Looking up to the left. Looking up to the left is frequently associated with memory retrieval. When someone tries to recall a visual memory, their eyes often drift in this direction as the brain accesses stored imagery. This movement can appear when someone is genuinely searching their memory for details. In investigative situations, it can help distinguish between a person recalling a real scene and someone inventing one, especially when the eye movement happens naturally before the answer forms. Looking down to the right. Looking down to the right is often linked to internal emotions and self-reflection. When a person shifts their gaze in this direction, they may be processing feelings such as guilt, embarrassment, or personal conflict. This movement frequently appears during moments when someone is confronted with uncomfortable truths or when they are silently evaluating how their actions may be judged. The eyes drop as the mind turns inward. Looking down to the left. Looking down to the left tends to appear when someone is engaging in internal dialogue. The brain begins rehearsing words or mentally organizing thoughts before speaking them aloud. This is often seen when a person pauses before giving a careful response. In tense situations, manipulators may deliberately do this while crafting statements designed to sound convincing or emotionally persuasive. Sideways glance. A sideways glance often signals suspicion, skepticism, or hidden judgment. Instead of facing the person directly, the eyes briefly shift to the side while the head may remain forward. This movement reflects a moment of silent evaluation. It frequently appears when someone doubts what they are hearing but chooses not to confront it openly. In social dynamics, it can also be used as a subtle signal between observers who share the same silent suspicion. Eye roll. An eye roll is a powerful nonverbal signal of contempt or dismissal. The movement is quick, but the meaning is unmistakable. It often appears when someone feels intellectually or socially superior to the person speaking. The eyes momentarily retreat upward as if rejecting the conversation entirely. In relationships or group settings, frequent eye rolling can quietly reveal disrespect long before it is expressed verbally. Prolonged staring without blinking. Prolonged staring without blinking can function as an intimidation tactic. When someone locks their gaze and reduces natural blinking, it creates a feeling of psychological pressure. The other person may begin to feel scrutinized or challenged. In competitive or confrontational situations, individuals sometimes use this technique deliberately to establish dominance or provoke discomfort without speaking a word. Avoiding eye contact. Avoiding eye contact is commonly associated with anxiety, insecurity, or the desire to hide information. When a person repeatedly looks away during conversation, their brain may be trying to reduce the emotional intensity of the interaction. This behavior often appears when someone feels judged or exposed. In deceptive situations, individuals may instinctively break eye contact as a subconscious attempt to escape the perceived scrutiny. Micro-glances at exits or doors. Micro-glances toward exits or doors reveal a subconscious desire to leave the environment. The eyes briefly scan escape routes even when the person continues the conversation. This often occurs when someone feels trapped in an uncomfortable interaction or anticipates conflict. The brain automatically checks for a way out before the conscious mind even acknowledges the discomfort. Dilated pupils. Dilated pupils appear when the brain experiences heightened emotional stimulation. Attraction, curiosity, fear, and intense interest can all trigger this response. Because pupil dilation is largely involuntary, it can quietly reveal genuine emotional reactions. In social manipulation, observant individuals sometimes watch for this signal to determine whether someone is emotionally engaged, intrigued, or vulnerable. Eye darting. Eye darting involves quick, restless movements of the eyes across the environment. It reflects heightened alertness or nervousness. The brain rapidly scans surroundings for potential threats or social cues. During tense conversations, this behavior often appears when someone feels exposed or uncertain about how the situation may unfold. Softened eye contact. Softened eye contact occurs when the gaze relaxes and the eyelids slightly lower. This signal often appears when someone feels comfortable, trusting, or emotionally connected. Unlike dominant staring, the eyes do not attempt to control the interaction. Instead, they communicate openness and calm engagement. Skilled manipulators sometimes imitate this expression to create a false sense of safety before attempting to influence someone. Glancing at the lips. Glancing at the lips usually indicates heightened focus on speech or subtle attraction. The eyes briefly drop from the eyes to the mouth, often when someone is carefully observing what is being said or when romantic interest begins to develop. In certain contexts, it can also signal anticipation, especially during emotionally charged interactions where attention becomes intensely focused on the other person's expressions.